So what is Fuckup next?
Do you guys hear me? Is anybody here? Yeah. Okay. I will try to speak louder so that you hear me. Thank you for inviting me. It's very interesting. So I've never been to such event. And my first fuck up is that I don't have any slides. I am not prepared. I was trying to remember, the stories to share, fuck up stories to share. And there were so many that I really had to choose what to tell because I have 15 minutes. But as long as I didn't know what's happening here, I imagined my own format. So I suggest this. I will tell 3 stories, and you will tell me what are the lessons learned. Would it work? Like an interaction, yeah? You know better than me. I only, am the author of fuck-ups, and then everyone sees what's wrong. So, my first story is launching a startup. I launched a company that's a B2B thing that helps companies save money. Basically, for bigger companies like banks or so on, it would save from $50,000 to maybe $500,000 every year. And I thought, it's a great idea. You implement it in, half an hour, and then your company saves $100,000. Not bad. So we went and pitched this idea before building it, so we were smart. Before building it, we went and pitched the idea, and people said, "Ooh, it's a cool idea. Half an hour? Yeah, we can implement it in half an hour." And then we built the thing, actually, and went to clients and started selling, and they said, "It's amazing. Yes, we're doing it. Let's go." We started doing it, and no one really implemented it. It took forever to start and so on, and they actually never started paying, these large amounts of money that we had to earn. This is the story. It's a little bit of mystery here. Can you say what are the lessons learned? Yes, please.
Was that the mistake that you made?
Like they started doing it themselves?
Yes, you gave them the idea how to do it,
No.
but you didn't take credit for it.
Yes, thank you. Good version. But I'm always for sharing, and it always helps you. Never hurted me sharing an idea. What else? Any ideas? Huh? Fake it until you make it. Yeah, maybe. I continued faking it after that. Yeah. Okay, any other ideas? Yes, please, Jamie.
You made up the 30 minutes.
Made up the 30 minutes.
It didn't exist, so you didn't know it actually took 30 minutes. Maybe it took longer than 30 minutes.
No, it would actually take 30 minutes.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, we were able to build the thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, this sounds like a great success. Get out of here.
No. My lesson learned is that it's just purely professional, but when we're starting a product, we have to solve a real pain. We have to solve something that the buyer, the decision maker, is thinking about every day even when he goes home. This is the key metric, the KPI, the goal, for a CTO that's gonna implement it. It should be something that really influences his life, his money, and important parts of his life. So this thing was saving money, but for the CTO, saving money of a company never was a goal. We didn't know that. So you have to build something that solves a real pain. That's my lesson. Okay, the next stories are, the next stories are easier. I've launched definitely more than 10 products, definitely more. I didn't count, but I should. So how many customers we pitched? Maybe 30, 40. Yeah. Okay, second story. We have not much time, so I'll be short. The second story is, we launched a company. It was called Buddhist back then, and Wakie, this company that some people among you know. And it was really flying. It was growing organically. I'm having a lot of downloads and so on. And we started pitching on events, and we launched it initially in Russia, and we were winning every competition that we participated in. This is not a fuck-up story, but we will get there. So we were winning competition by competition, and then someone decided to copy us and to start it in the US. So launch it globally. And this was crazy. We came up with a unique idea, which never happens, and someone copied us and is going to launch it like in a week, or launched it, we just saw it, and then we decided, okay, we're going to the US, we're gonna conquer the world, and we are the originators of this idea, we're gonna be the first, and so on. So we went to the US, and we prepared the presentation for large crowds. It's like 350 people in a hall, it's a startup competition, and we were designing the presentation in different manners, and then at some point, the last night, we decided that it's a big hall, large screen, and it's like an Apple presentation, basically. A small person like me walks out, there's a large screen, everyone is listening, there's a microphone, fancy. So we thought we should make an unusual presentation. Our product is unusual. I have to pitch you a little bit. The product is, you set up a wake-up call, and in the morning, someone from other part of the world, from other time zone, would call and wake you up. Crowdsourced wake-up call service. Very funny, growing like crazy, 1 million users, and I'm pitching it in the US. So I come up to the stage, and I click the button, and we show just one number, 0. And I say, 0. And then theatrical pause, and I say, this is the number of dollars spent on marketing in my startup. And then I was expecting that everyone is laughing, and I'm winning the competition. We completely failed the competition. We were not in top 10 from, 20 companies. We were like in the bottom of the list. And I don't know why, but this thing really hurt. I don't know why I took it so personally, so deep inside me. It really hurt. And it was, such a moment. I had experience talking on public before, but after that, I think at least for a year, all the rest of public speeches, I was asking my brother, my co-founder, to do the rest of the speeches because I was not able to go on stage and speak. So it was a big fail, and it was hard. Let's talk about lessons learned. What do you think are the lessons here? Prepare.
Yeah.
Yes. Good point. We prepared, but the last night we changed it, so I was not prepared well enough. Yep.
Know your audience.
Know your audience, someone said. I don't see you, but you're... Yes, thank you. Yes, I think so. Anything else? What?
Have an attractive pitch deck.
Have an attractive pitch deck. I think it's a good point, yes. Numbers should be positive. Basically, it was not negative as well, we have to admit. Yeah. Yes, I think this all works, but one thing that I think is important, sometimes you're trying to pretend to be someone else. You see Steve Jobs and you try to be Steve Jobs, and you actually believe that if you make these long pauses, that's the secret of making a presentation. And if you're original and you put 0, it's but being yourself and telling exactly what you want to tell is important. That later, in years after that, I went through Y Combinator, the startup acceleration program. And the first thing that we were trying to understand at YC, all the startups go through this process, the first couple of weeks, you pitch as many people as you can with a short tagline, like 10 to 20 second tagline saying what you do. And you will be amazed so many people cannot just say what their startup does. And for the people who are on the panel or who are judging, when they lose interest in the first 30 seconds, their mind goes to somewhere else. They have kids, they have problems, they have own companies, a lot of problems to think about or to go into the smartphone, and you will not catch their attention again. So I think one of the biggest lessons is that you have to start by saying exactly what you do. Why are you here? My company does this and this, and I will tell you, the rest of the story. And try not to pretend being someone else. I don't think Steve Jobs would be, anyone would listen for Steve Jobs if he was not representing something really great behind him, the great product, the great company, and so on. Okay, this is the second story. And the third story is this. So we started this wake-up call thing, and unexpectedly it's growing, and a lot of people joining. So when we call to wake you up, sometimes you don't pick up the phone. So when we call you 3 times and you don't pick up the phone, we send a text message saying, sorry, we tried to call you, you didn't pick up the phone, we hope you woke up on time and, you're not late on your plane. So we were sending, at some point, we were sending 20,000 text messages every day. And system is growing, everything is servers are down, we're changing it all the time. And there is a moment in time when we started doubling every 4 hours. So we doubled, the servers are down, we sit down and redesign the servers, but as soon as we don't have a lot of time, we would do something to be able to host 3 times more users, or 4 times more users. And we would change and would implement, we would, launch it again, and then we would double in 4 hours, and double again, and in 12 hours we would fall again, and we start over. So at some point we're sending 20,000 text messages saying, sorry, we couldn't wake you up. And we changed this thing a lot of, many times a day. And at some point, we made a mistake in code, and we sent 20,000 text messages to one person.
Wake up!
Sorry, we cannot wake you up. Yeah, 20,000 text messages. So the guy actually wakes up from his phone, just, if you send, technically, I would describe how it looks like. If you send 20,000 messages to a person, his phone would just be getting hundreds of messages per second, right? And it starts getting hotter and hotter. And the only thing you can do, you can switch. It's an SMS, yes, short, text message. So the only thing you can do, you can switch it off, right? Cool, you can switch off and then switch on in 10 minutes, everything is fine. But the mobile carriers, mobile operators, don't work that way. If they delivered only 200 messages, they will hold the rest of the messages in a queue, and when you switch on your phone, they will keep sending the messages. That's basically what's happening. So the guy cannot use his phone. He's just getting text messages all the time. The whole day he was just waiting. It doesn't go through. His phone stops because it's getting too hot. It stops. He's switching it off and then switching on and cannot do nothing with it. So, and
Call you.
yes. As a compensation, we bought him another phone, by the way. So it was very, in the beginning it was not funny at all. But we failed. Basically, we've done mistakes that, influenced the person. He shot this thing on video, how it's run. I wouldn't know how this happened if I didn't see a video. He sent us a video from another phone showing that we're killing his phone. So that's another failure. Let's talk about the lessons learned.
I'm sure it was the only one.
We're not sure. We're not sure. Lessons. Hire better engineers. Yeah, I think so. But when the engineer is not sleeping for 20 days, I think it's impossible. Always do Q&A. Good point. QA. Quality assurance. Yes?
If you don't like someone, you can send them 20,000.
Good point. Good point. Use Twilio for that. It's easy. Other ideas? Prepare. Yes, prepare for the worst case scenarios. Thank you. What else? Yeah, I don't know how I would prepare. we should have prepared the user, you know. Okay. Sorry? Responsible for risk management. Yes, thank you. Time to sleep, that's the best advice. Leave your employees time to sleep. Thank you, design it the right way. Okay. But it was us who wrote the code. Yeah, okay, so guys, you are all right. You are all right. But I think one of the biggest lessons from this story for me is that, I'm a big believer in minimum viable product. I think we should launch fast to check hypothesis as fast as possible. So this was our approach. We were trying to do something fast because we had a crazy idea about wake-up calls. All the smart people we met, they said, don't do this. This is a terrible idea and so on. So don't do this. This is bad. And we wouldn't, we wouldn't spend 6 months building quality assurance and hiring risk. We didn't have money. So it would just not happen. I think you all have projects in your minds, great ideas that sound ridiculous, and you don't launch them because you think that you will send 20,000 SMS to one person. Thus, you have to hire a risk manager. Thus, you have to raise money. And without building an MVP, you don't raise money, and nothing happens. So I think the lesson from this story is that we did it all right. It was right. We were launching, minimum. The first version of the product was a website, because we only could build website. We didn't know how to build mobile apps. It was a website where you put your phone number, time to wake up, and in the morning you get a call. That's it. That's simple. For example, as soon as you didn't have phone confirmation and registration, you could set the phone number of your professor for 4 a.m. in the morning, and we would wake them up. And a lot of other stuff that could happen, right? But we launched it and we tested the concept. When I was, during the years I was thinking about, could we launch even smaller than that? Not building, the thing for 3 weeks. It took us 3 weeks to launch from the idea to having the first wake-up call. And I understood that we could launch it in 15 minutes with 0 lines of code. So we take a Google form, only have 2 text boxes. One is phone number, the other one is time to wake up. They send it. I get an email. I wake up 5 minutes earlier than, with a regular alarm clock, call them and wake them up. And we would test the concept. So let's launch products earlier. Let's launch it fast, test it. If it doesn't work, it's fine. You only spent 15 minutes. If you spend 6 months biggest probability is that you will not start at all. Thank you very much. Questions, yeah? Questions? No? Thank you. Yes?
Your presentation, even if you didn't have any. And any personal failures?
Personal.
Those were like more professional
Yeah.
failures, more about personal failures. Can you please tell some?
Personal failures. Personal failures. No, it's a good question. A lot of failures, let me remember. What would you call the personal failure? It all feels very personal. I don't know. The story with zero hurt me so much. You cannot imagine. It's from looking at this thing now, it's very funny for me. I don't know why I reacted in such a way. And also, building a company, we call it a company, but it's only 2 people. So it's the only thing you do is you just wake up and you do everything in the company. So being entrepreneur means just, this is you, this is your life. And I didn't have a family back then. It was just my life. So my life got under risk and I failed harshly. So it hurt a lot. This is pretty personal. But I don't remember anything, personal other than that. Next time, so now I know the framework. I will think about it, and I will get back and tell only personal failures. I have a lot, I'm pretty sure.
What do you think? What is hard, to share personal failures or like professional ones in front of the audience?
No. Personal is harder, so let's give a round of applause to Armen. No. Personal is much harder. I didn't do it, right? But it's harder. Yes.
Yeah, so about the zero question.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm a user of Wakie, and I love the product, and
Thank
I
you.
have no idea how I learned about Wakie.
Yeah.
So actually, can you please share with us how did you get all these users, because it's really impressive.
Yeah. The right answer is I don't know, because we never acquired the user. Never. I mean, we are so bad at marketing. I mean, we just hired CMO, by the way. We are going to hire CMO next month. It's word of mouth. It's a funny idea, and it spreads word of mouth. I think it's what describes it, because I cannot measure it elsewhere. I just know that people download it.
Media, like PR,
Media,
maybe?
a lot of media. Yes. Many. When TechCrunch posted an article about Wakie, the article became the second most shared article on TechCrunch over the history. The first place was when Obama was learning coding from children. I mean, you cannot compete with that. But other than that, our story was shared, I don't know, tens of thousands of times. So there was another story that I would be a genius marketer if I came up with this story, but I came up with how to promote it. But there was a guy, an American guy, who goes to Reddit and writes in a thread about mobile applications that everyone uses. He says, so I installed this app, and in the morning, a drunk Russian called me with a Russian accent and woke me up. And then he says, this is a quote, "This shit is priceless." And we got 50,000 downloads from that post. So this is how it spreads. It's just a funny thing. People love it. By the way, you mentioned that sharing a story with a stranger. Right now, the concept of Wakie is different. You can set any topic you want to discuss, and in 10 seconds, you're having a conversation with someone. You can say, I want to practice English with native speaker. In 10 seconds, you're talking to someone from the US, for example. And you can say, I have this and this sickness, and I want to talk to someone who's been through it, and someone would pick up and talk. And sharing, this is pseudonymous, so you can be anonymous on the service, and sharing your personal things with someone who you don't know is actually easier than with someone who you know, because the risk of being judged, being criticized, that would hurt a lot. But from a stranger, even if they say bad things, it doesn't really matter. So it's easier to share. I think one of the internal drivers for the people is that, first of all, people help each other to wake up, to learn language, to share their own personal story. But it's also great because you are being open, you don't get judged, and it's a very safe environment. Yes? Микрофон как так? Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to ask a question. I didn't know about the application earlier. I'm definitely going to download it and check later on. Thank you very much for...
By the way, this is the promotion.
Yeah. But then it just came to my mind, if people are being randomly picked in some way, there's also a risk that some bullies talk to the people that need help, and maybe they just say mean things to those people that are in a desperate need of support.
Yep.
If you could just share how you managed to prevent such things, or is there any risk like that? And
yes. So on any social platform, there is bullying, there is all sort of violation of rules, but what we really pay attention to is having very simple rules, and then banning users forever if they repeatedly do something wrong, and banning from the first violation if it's something harsh. So we have very clear rules, but as soon as this is a community, and we have several hundred volunteer moderators who are browsing the system 24/7, and they learn how to moderate it. They have all the instruments to do so. It's getting detected really fast. So in average, it takes 17 minutes to ban a user that starts violating. So you will not manage to do a lot of harm. We will remove the violating person pretty fast. But it happens on our platform as well. Thank you. Yes, Jamana Kuneng? Yes.
Aren't you afraid that one day your copycat will appear and with the good marketing and get your startup? Get you down.
I'm scared all the time. Being a startup founder is being scared. That's just the lifestyle. The thing is, a lot of companies try to make something like this, including giants like Google. Google tried to approach this idea from a different point of view, from counseling point of view. You pay someone and they would consult you over a video about a problem that you have. It could be about renovating your house, or mental health, or something else. But Google never had the service was called Helpouts back then. And Google never managed to make, more than 10,000 calls a month, and we're making 1 million calls a month. Because we took a completely different approach. This is a very open platform. When you get in, you see a lot of people from the whole planet, and they're speaking about a lot of stuff. It's so random. It's very broad, it's very wide, and it's very democratic way of doing the same, it's another approach. So But there were a lot of companies. I can remember over 50 maybe, 40, 50 that we know that failed. Yes, we cannot pass you mic. Oh, you have a microphone. Nice.
Yes. Hello?
Yes.
Do you know if any of the users has ended up dating one of the morning callers?
Yeah, yeah. We have marriages. Yeah. Listen, there was one more story. It's not a failure story, but it's a story. So there was a couple that met over the wake-up call part of service. Back then, when it was available only in Russia, someone called someone, woke them up, and they started talking. They started messaging each other, and the guy decided to propose the girl. And, as soon as we are bad marketers, we didn't know that story at all. But then I get a call from TV Russia TV, which is the second largest TV channel in Russia. And they say, there is a guy who met a girl on your platform, and he actually wants to propose her, and he wants to propose this live on television. And he's coming to some shitty talk show where he would just come, propose her, and he proposed her live on television. But there are a lot of stories like that. But they never met. Sorry? But they never met before. No. They spoke. They had a couple meetings because they lived in different cities. Yeah, they met a couple times, and then he decided that they should, they should get married. Anything else? Thank you very much. You're a great crowd. I love you.